There is a certain kind of person who makes you uncomfortable the moment they walk into a room. Not because they are loud, not because they demand attention, but because they don't. They sit quietly. They observe. They say almost nothing. And yet somehow, by the end of it all, everything that happened because of them. You didn't see it coming. Nobody did. And that is precisely the point. Most people spend their entire lives trying to be understood. They explain themselves. They justify their decisions. They seek validation from people who haven't even figured out their own lives yet. They post. They perform. They signal. Look at me. Notice me. Approve of me. And the tragedy isn't that they want to be seen. The tragedy is that they traded everything that actually made them powerful for the temporary warmth of someone else's approval. They gave away the most dangerous thing they had, their mystery, their silence, their independence, and got nothing real in return. He never made that trade. Not once. From the very beginning, he understood something that takes most people decades to learn, if they ever learn it at all, that needing people, truly needing them, building your entire psychological foundation on their presence, their validation, their opinion of you, is not connection. It is dependency. And dependency is a chain. It doesn't matter how beautiful the chain looks, or how kindly the person holds the other end. The moment someone else's mood determines your peace, you have already lost. You are no longer operating as a free agent. You are reacting. You are managed. And the world is full of people who are very good at managing others, without those people ever realizing it's happening. He realized it, and he chose differently. The word alone has been poisoned. Society has spent generations treating solitude as a wound, as evidence of failure, as something to be fixed or pitied. If you are alone, something must be wrong with you. You must not be likable enough, social enough, warm enough. You must be broken in some way that other people can see even if you cannot. This is one of the most effective lies ever told, because it turns your greatest strength into your greatest source of shame. It makes you run from the very state that would have made you formidable. It sends you sprinting toward noise and distraction and shallow connection, away from the silence where your real power lives. Because here is what nobody tells you about solitude. It is not emptiness. It is clarity. When you are truly alone, not lonely, not hiding, not running from something, but genuinely, voluntarily, intentionally, alone, you begin to hear yourself think for the first time. Not the version of yourself that performs for other people. Not the self that laughs at jokes it doesn't find funny, or agrees with opinions it doesn't hold. The real one. The one underneath all of that. The one that knows exactly what it wants, what it sees, what it is capable of, and what it refuses to tolerate. That version of you is extraordinarily powerful, but it only speaks in silence, and most people are too afraid of silence to ever hear it. He was never afraid of silence. He lived inside it. He built himself inside it. And when he emerged, he was something that nobody in that room, in that school, in that world had ever encountered before. Not because he was superhuman, but because he had done the work that everyone else avoided. He had sat with himself long enough to know himself completely. And a person who knows themselves completely cannot be manipulated, cannot be destabilized, cannot be controlled. Because every manipulation requires a gap, a need, an insecurity, a hunger, and he had systematically closed every gap. Not by becoming cold, by becoming complete. Think about the people in your own life who have the most power over you emotionally. Why do they have it? Not because they are stronger than you, not because they are smarter. They have it because they are positioned in a place where you need something from them. Their approval, their presence, their validation, their time, and as long as you need it, They hold a lever attached directly to your internal state. They pull it whenever they want, sometimes consciously, often without even realizing they are doing it, and you respond every time. Because the need is real, even when you pretend it isn't. The only way to remove the lever is to remove the need, not to suppress it, not to pretend you don't feel it, but to actually do the internal work of becoming sufficient in yourself, of building a life, a mind, a sense of self that does not require external confirmation to function. This is what discipline actually is. Not waking up at 5 in the morning. Not cold showers. Not a perfect schedule. Those things are fine, but they are surface level. Real discipline is the ongoing, daily, unglamorous process of choosing yourself, your standards, your direction, your internal peace, over the immediate comfort of other people's approval. It is boring. It is quiet. It does not look impressive from the outside. But it compounds. Every day you choose it, it gets easier. Every day you don't, the dependency deepens. He chose it. Every single day. In every single interaction. Not because he hated people. That is the part most people misunderstand completely. He didn't isolate himself out of contempt, or fear or bitterness. He understood people with extraordinary precision. Their motivations, their insecurities, their patterns, their needs. He understood them better than they understood themselves. But understanding something and needing it are two entirely different things. You can understand fire without needing to burn. You can observe people, appreciate people, even care for people, without making them the structural foundation of your identity. That distinction between understanding and depending is everything. There is a version of strength that most people admire. The loud version. The version that announces itself, that pushes through, that performs resilience in public and gets applauded for it. And there is nothing wrong with that. But it is not the most dangerous kind. The most dangerous kind of strength is the kind that never needs to announce itself at all. The kind that operates without any need for recognition. That does not require an audience to remain consistent. That functions exactly the same, whether 10,000 people are watching, or nobody is watching at all. Because if your discipline requires an audience, it is not discipline, it is performance. And performance collapses the moment the audience leaves. Ask yourself honestly, who are you when no one is watching? Not who you want to be, not the version you'd like to present. Who are you actually, in the quiet hours when there is no one to perform for? Because that is the only true answer. That is the real measurement. And most people cannot sit with that question for more than a few seconds before reaching for their phone, for noise, for something to fill the space before the honest answer arrives. Because the honest answer is uncomfortable. It reveals the gap between who you present and who you actually are. And closing that gap is the hardest, most important work a person can do. He had no gap. That was what made him so disorienting to everyone around him. There was no version of him backstage that contradicted the version on stage. There was no hidden weakness being managed, no insecurity being concealed, no performance being maintained. What you saw, or rather, what you almost never quite saw, was what was actually there. A person who had done the internal work so completely that there was nothing left to protect, nothing to defend. No ego bruised by criticism because the ego was not the foundation. No peace destroyed by betrayal because the peace did not depend on the person who betrayed. He had built something genuinely rare, an internal architecture that was load-bearing on its own, without needing to lean on anyone else. You can build that too. But you have to be honest about what it actually costs. It costs comfort. Specifically the warm, soft comfort of belonging to a group that accepts you exactly as you are, without asking you to become anything more. That belonging feels like safety. It is not. It is stagnation dressed in the language of love. Real growth requires you to move past the people who are comfortable with your limitations, not to hate them, not to abandon them cruelly, but to refuse to let their ceiling become your ceiling. To keep walking forward, even when no one is walking with you, especially when no one is walking with you. Because that is the truest test of whether your direction is yours or just a product of your environment. It costs the need to be understood. Most people are running a constant background process, an internal PR campaign, where every decision is filtered through how it will be perceived. Will people understand why I did this? Will they respect it? Will they think less of me? This process consumes an enormous amount of energy. Energy that could be directed outward into actual results, actual movement, actual development. The moment you genuinely stop needing people to understand you, you recover that energy entirely. You become faster, cleaner, more decisive. Because you are no longer running a second process alongside every action. You are just acting, and it costs certainty. This is the hardest one. Most people want a guarantee before they commit to anything. They want to know it will work before they begin. They want external confirmation that they are on the right path before they take another step. And that guarantee never comes. The path only becomes visible as you walk it. You have to move forward with nothing but your own judgment and your own standards as your compass. No applause, no confirmation, no reassurance. Just you and the direction you chose and the discipline to keep moving in it, even when the outcome is completely unclear. That is what it means to be on your own. Not to be lonely, not to be isolated, not to be broken or cold or closed off, but to be sovereign, to be the final authority over your own internal state, to have built something inside yourself that is genuinely yours, not borrowed from other people's expectations, not constructed from what others need you to be, but built from your own values, your own standards, your own uncompromised judgment. That is the rarest thing in the world, because it requires you to give up the thing that almost everyone is addicted to, the need to be needed, the hunger to be seen, the constant seeking of external confirmation that you are enough. You are enough. But you will never fully believe that until you stop asking other people to confirm it. The person who can walk into any room, in any situation, with any amount of pressure bearing down on them, and remain exactly who they are, that person cannot be beaten by ordinary means. Not because they are unreachable, but because the tools that work on everyone else simply do not apply. Flattery doesn't move them. Threats don't destabilize them. Exclusion doesn't wound them. Approval doesn't corrupt them. They have rendered the entire standard toolkit useless, not through aggression, but through sufficiency, through the quiet, daily, unglamorous decision to belong to themselves first. Start there, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the conditions are better, or the path is clearer, or the people around you finally understand. Now, in whatever situation you are currently in, whoever is watching or not watching, whatever has happened before this moment, start building something inside yourself that does not require external permission to stand. Start choosing your own standard over other people's comfort. Start tolerating the silence long enough to hear what you actually think. It will be uncomfortable at first. It will feel like loss, because you will be giving up things that felt like safety. But what you gain is something that cannot be taken, cannot be managed, cannot be leveraged against you. When you are truly on your own, not because no one chose you, but because you chose yourself, everything changes. Not because the world gets easier, but because you stop needing it to.